Hey, welcome to Live from Dennis's house. Today we're going to be reviewing a masterpiece, Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction. And I have my special guests tonight. They are the band Bad Obsession, which is a Guns N' Roses tribute band. We have Jim, Mario, and Mike back there. And then way in the way back, we got John back there. He's just in the audience. So, normally when I start the show, I have the band playing, but I gotta tell you about this one. This is a brand new, never opened album before, so I just bought it. That I had this album, of course. I bought this album in 1987 when it came out, and it was actually, the reason I know that, it was one of the last albums. It might have been the last album that I ever bought, because everything after that was on CD. So, when I knew you guys were coming tonight, we were doing Appetite for Destruction, I went down to my record collection, and Guns N' Roses is not in there. Appetite for Destruction is missing.
Come on, what is that about?
And I know where it is. Brian, you son of a bitch. That my friend Brian, who is a record collector, and we were in a band together, and we used to practice down in my basement, and every night he'd be looking at the albums and like, oh, can I have some? Can I buy some off of you? And I was like, no, I'm never selling them. And then after months of him harassing me, you know, my wife said, oh, you never listen to him. What are you going to do with them? Let him sell some to him. So I sold, you know, a bunch to him, and apparently this one was in it. So I want my album back, Brian. But the thing is, he was the one who turned me on to start listening to the albums again, so I have to give him credit for that, you know? It's kind of like when you have, like, an ugly girlfriend and you don't really like her, but then someone else starts paying attention to her, then you're like saying, all right, yeah, maybe I do like this. So that got me into listening to the records again, and that's what got me into doing the show and all that. So, look at this. Never before opened, pristine album.
Very pretty.
Yes, look at that. That is amazing. I don't remember ever getting a brand new album like this again. See, part of the tradition of the show is we smell the albums. Because, let me get an old one here. Oh, look, I got a nice old Frank Sinatra one. So we'll do a comparison test. Look at this. Ah, smell that.
Smells good.
See, that's a nice old musty one.
Yeah.
It really brings you back and stuff. But now this is, I don't know.
180 gram.
Oh, yes, 180 gram. It's all very expensive, too. But it's all antiseptic, and it's plastic, and has no good smell in it. But
Still sounds better than the
yeah,
CD.
yeah, we're going to see how it sounds, though,
That's
now.
awesome.
All right,
Need that.
so we're going to put this on. Further ado. All right, so let's talk a little about you guys, and then we'll talk the albums. I'll do a little other stuff in here. So you guys are in Bad Obsession,
That's right.
right? Tell us a little bit about this band. You playing out currently? You got what's going on? How long you been together? All that stuff.
I'll let Mike take over. He founded the band. He's the original surviving member.
Last surviving member.
All right, hold up.
A couple years ago.
Definitely have to lower that. You have to speak
Yeah.
up loud
There you
over
go.
that. There you go.
Deep voice. Formed about 3 years ago. Just a couple guys getting together, jamming up some songs, and GNR was one of our favorite bands and awesome band to play. Very fun. That's pretty much where it came from. You know, we were the original band before that, but one of us always went back to playing one of the riffs, and we just kind of went from there. And we're like, why not? Let's do a Guns N' Roses tribute band, and here we are.
Cool.
That was Brainchild.
So you guys, are you playing out anywhere we can report about? Anyone can come out and see you? Because you just recorded 2 songs tonight, and you guys sound amazing, I gotta say.
Thank you. Right now, we're keeping it slow with the booking. Just don't want to overbook, and this way keep our draws going. The show's great.
All right.
Crossroads,
Well, yeah, we got probably in November
Lower that.
a Crossroads date coming up. We're still
Oh, yeah?
finalizing the details.
Okay, cool. Well, definitely everyone have to come check this out. I'll put up your information if you got a Facebook page, any kind of stuff like that.
Definitely, where it's the Bad Obsession NJ.
All right,
on
cool.
Facebook.
I'll put
Check
up
us
the
out.
links, and it's awesome. So let's talk a little bit about this album right here. This album came out in 1987, not 1986, John. 1987. Remember it well. And it's a masterpiece, as I said. that I think it's definitely one of my favorite albums. Definitely in the top 10 albums of all time, I would say. And I would say GNR is in the top 10 of my favorite bands of all time, too. Would you guys, I would imagine you guys would agree with that, too. Are they your favorite band of all time?
First rock and roll band I liked, still my favorite.
All right. You guys back there, too?
I have to concur.
They're in my top 3.
All right. What's your top 1, 2?
Iron Maiden and Metallica.
All right. I'm doing a Metallica show next week. It's funny you should mention that.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
You have it over.
Yeah, cool. So, yes, and this album came out in 1987, I said, but it was like such a pivotal time because the music scene in my eyes and a lot of people's eyes was very bleak. It was a lot of hair bands and a lot of like synth pop new wave crap, you know? And then I bought this album actually without ever hearing one note of it. I saw this picture back here, the back cover. I saw that picture of them in a newspaper, and there was an article about it. And I said, holy crap, this band is going to be so awesome. I'm going out to buy this album.
So sleazy looking.
Look at these guys.
Awesome.
This reminds me of all the kind of music that I love. You know, it reminded me like of Alice Cooper in the early 70s, and Aerosmith, Rolling Stones, New York Dolls kind of stuff. And it was just this, it was so amazing that it appealed to everybody. Like metal fans loved it, the teeny bopper girls loved it, and the punk guys, yes, that was the beauty of the band because they all brought like their own kind of influence to it. You know, like some of them like punk, some of them like every kind of music. There was a mix of like metal, punk, rock, you name it. It was everything in there. So it was just an amazing album, and it turned music on its head. This was on the. What's the big selling Sweet Child of Mine, of course, went to number 1. And there's so many classics on here, like Paradise City, Welcome to the Jungle, Rocket Queen, Mr. Brownstone. Every song on here is great. So let's go around and say, what's your favorite song off the album?
Rocket Queen.
Rocket Queen.
That was easy.
I'm going to have to say Night Train, I think.
Night Train.
I'm going to have to say Rocket Queen.
Rocket Queen. John.
Mr. Brownstone.
Nice. That's mine too. Mr. Brownstone. 2 Rocket Queens, 2 Mr. Brownstones. All right. So, and it's just every song on here is amazing.
Front
So,
and back, man.
yeah. So we're gonna listen to more of that.
Nothing before that had more aggression than this did.
Exactly. That's what I loved about this too. It brought back the danger to rock and roll. That everybody was listening to Poison and Winger and all this crap, and it was just like meaningless. And this brought back
White
danger.
Snake.
Yeah,
Very true sounding.
Yes,
every
this-
song they wrote was about like a real life event.
Exactly. They meant what they said.
Oh, shit.
It was everybody else was just having a party out there. It was like shopping mall kids, and these guys really were the real deal. So that's what made it awesome. So what else I want to talk about here? The band members. Let's talk a little about the band members that everyone knows. And these were one of the last bands too that everybody knows everybody's name in the band.
Right.
So you had Axel, and everybody had a cool nickname too. You know what I'm saying? It was Axel, Slash, Izzy. I bet nobody knows Izzy's real name, or do you?
Jeff Isabel.
That's it. Yeah, very good. I didn't know that till last night. Yeah,
Jeffrey.
yeah.
No.
And they had Stephen Adler and my
McKagan.
Duff McKagan. Yeah, and I actually wrote down what his real name is too. It's
Michael
Michael Andrew McKagan. Yes. So, and the one thing that was funny about this was Stephen Adler was thrown out of the band. He was the drummer, and he was thrown out. They were so involved in drugs. They were out of control. I think all of them were heroin addicts.
They got him hooked on the drugs.
Right, and then that is how
fucked up.
I'd have to say that he is the most effed up person of all time because he was thrown out of the band by Slash. If Slash and the rest of Guns N' Roses is telling you you're effed up, you have to be the most effed up person in the world.
Heroin addicts is telling you that you have a problem.
Right.
Might
They're
check
all,
into it.
exactly. And then the only other time I heard about that back in the 60s when Keith Richards threw Brian Jones out of the band for being too effed up. So I have to say Keith Richards and Brian Jones, Steven Adler and Brian Jones were the two most effed up people of all time. So Brian Jones died and Steven Adler ended up having a stroke, and I don't know what he's up to now. I think he's doing kind of all right now.
I think he was in rehab for a while. But
Yeah, I saw him on Celebrity
didn't work.
Rehab.
Yeah,
He's got a
crazy.
tribute band going. It's Adler's Appetite. He goes around
really?
basically playing Appetite for Destruction with like a band he put together.
There you go. I would be interested in seeing that. That'd be cool.
Great drummer, though.
Yeah,
Awesome
definitely.
Yeah.
So, all right. Now, before we get to this now I'm going to do my part of the show. I don't know if you guys seen the show or not. Some of you have, some of you don't. But now is the part where I do my rant of the week, where I just spout out about things that piss me off. And I actually wrote down some things here today that pissed me off.
In the spirit of Guns N' Roses.
Yes. All right. The first thing that pisses me off is psychics and mediums. That there's this Teresa Caputo. Do any of you guys believe in that before I start?
Nah, not at all.
No.
I hope not. Good, because I'm going to rip into it. That they have these this girl Teresa Caputo, especially, who is the Long Island medium, and she's going around swearing that she could talk to dead people. So I don't even understand how that could possibly happen. Like how she could get all these people to believe that she can actually talk to dead people. Like, how would that even work?
I believe she could talk to dead people, but I'm sure they don't talk back.
No, that's what she says. The dead people talk to her, and they channel through her to the people. But if you ever notice, it's always vague nonsense. It's never just, oh, hey, Dennis, this is your dead grandfather. Remember that time I took you to Chuck E. Cheese and the boardwalk that time? It's always, oh, does somebody know someone with the name that starts with a J or something like that? And he hopes you're doing well. It's always nonsense like that. And this woman, Teresa Caputo, is making millions of dollars off of this. And what really pisses me off is that she is preying on people because they want to believe. They want to believe that their dead grandparents or parents, children, or whatever are talking to them. So she is preying on that, and
That's
that
sad.
is wrong.
She sucks.
We hate you, Teresa Caputo. What makes you think that you would be so special that God would bestow this power on you, that only you could, some yenta from Long Island with a ridiculous hairdo, can talk to dead people when nobody else in the world can? And
She
then
get raped by a robot.
and then you have the psychics who say they can see the future. Now, how is that possible? How is that possible that someone could see into the future? I don't understand it. And the headline that you never see is "Psychic wins lottery." No. And then they always say, oh, no, we can't do that. We only use our powers for good. So that's why we never pick the lottery numbers. Yeah, so those are my two rants of the week. And I have one more, that when I was buying this record, this made me think of it. That they have these tickets that were on the counter. I stopped on the way home and I got this album from Jack's Music in Red Bank, by the way, an awesome music store in Red Bank. And on the counter they have these tickets to go see this guy, DJ Scribble. And I was thinking about that what kids today, they're talking about, oh, that's my favorite DJ, oh, I love this. And I said, they're just playing albums. I'm playing albums right here. Look at that. I'm a great DJ. How are these guys?
My favorite DJ.
Yes. How are these guys popular? They fill like stadiums now. People go to clubs just to see them. Oh, he's great at that. Did you hear the way he played that album? And I don't get it. Someone has to explain that to me. So write in, call in, whatever, and explain the DJ shit to me. So it's a family show, but I'm getting so worked up that I have to curse now. So. All right, so enough with the rants. Let's get back to Guns N' Roses, and let's play some stuff off of here. Oh, we're right to the end. Let's see what's going to come up.
It's so easy.
That
We got
bass line
silence.
kick in.
Come on. Oh, nice. So we'll talk. We'll let that play now. It should be low enough. But what song is it? Where Axl and a girl are having sex in the studio and they're
That's
recording
Rocket
it.
Queen.
That's on Rocket Queen, right? And I was reading about that it was actually Axl with Steven Adler's girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steven
Right.
Adler was supposed to screw her, but Axel did instead.
No, I
'Cause-
heard that he cheated on her or something. She was trying to get back.
Yes,
at him.
exactly. That's what I heard too.
So she actually went with Axel and did. He had the idea of doing that on the album.
That's even cooler.
Yes. Oh, and if you look at the album, that one side is not A and B, not 1 and 2. One side is G, and the other side is R. So you get it, G and R. Isn't that awesome? And the G is supposed to be all of like the. Hold on, I wrote down what it's supposed to be. Yeah, G is supposed to be all the drugs, hard life, big city, gun side, you know? So that's why you have Welcome to the Jungle on that side, Night Train, Mr. Brownstone. And then on the R side is the Roses side, and that's all about love, sex, and relationships. And that's where you have Sweet Child of Mine, You're Crazy, and Rocket Queen, and all those things. Yeah, so... now we are actually going to take. This is the segment where we take the call-in segment. We don't have a call-in segment yet, but we have a text-in segment. So we have a couple texts here that I want to read. Where are they? It's from little Christy Marinara from Morganville, New Jersey. And the question is, she writes in and says, Dear Live from Dennis's House, Chinese Democracy, I think, is the best Guns N' Roses album of all time. Do you agree? All right, I'll let you guys take that one. There's more to the question.
I think Chrissy is full of shit.
Yeah. Wait till I stop puking in my mouth.
All right, so I
She
guess
must be like 14.
that part you don't agree. And then she says, well, what do you think then of the new Guns N' Roses with
Badass
Axl?
band.
You like the new one just with
I
Axl
agree.
in it?
They're
Definitely
really
a
good.
badass band.
Because
The album, not too great, but the band's awesome.
yeah, I saw that they're like playing live in Vegas or something for a while now. I saw it on TV the other night, and at first I was ready to throw my shoe at the screen. I was like, "Oh no, I'm not looking at anything without Slash." But then I started listening to it. You know, and at first I thought Axl looked terrible, but then I sat and that he sounded terrible. But I sat down, and I started listening to it, and it was really, really good actually.
The
You
band's
know?
incredible. All the musicians in the band are awesome.
He's
Right.
got the best
Yeah.
help money can buy.
They
Yeah,
shouldn't
yeah.
even call it Guns N' Roses though.
Because there's like
Call
a
it the
couple
Axl Rose
lead,
Project.
there's a couple lead guitar players in the band now too. It still looks weird to me without Slash. I gotta say, I will not accept them without Slash. But that is part of the question here. She says also, do you think there'll ever be an Axl and Slash reunion?
We all wish.
Yeah,
I think years from now.
yeah.
Give it 10 or 20 years.
Everybody wants it.
Except
all
them
waiting
too,
for
I
it.
think. Yeah.
It's mostly Axl.
Yeah.
Slash is willing to bury the hatchet, apparently.
Of course,
Axl's
yeah,
like,
from what I
"Ooh."
heard. And I don't know what what happened between them, but it's like the beginning of the end was, you know, they threw Adler out. They got the guy from the Cult in there to play Matt Sorum. And then I think the year after that, Izzy left. And I think he left because he straightened up first and he couldn't be around them, so then he left. Yeah. And I don't know what happened after that. It just like kind of
Izzy
imploded.
Stratton left back in 1991 in the middle of the Illusion tour,
Right.
and they got Gilby Clark at that point.
Okay, yeah, I remember that.
And then Gilby Clark stayed till I think about the mid '90s, and I mean everybody pretty much left GNR except for Axl and Dizzy Reed, the keyboardist.
Oh, okay.
I mean everybody else left like around 1995, 1996, and like I said, Axl and Dizzy still stayed, and everybody else was new.
Right.
You know, pretty much a hired gun.
And that's why Axl owns the name, because everybody else quit, he stayed around. So he just said, all right, I'm still here,
Yeah,
so I get
read
the name, yeah.
I read some article a long time ago that Axl Rose actually bought the name, I think in 1988 or 89. He actually got the whole entire band drunk.
That's what I was figuring. Gave him a bag of heroin each and said, all right, here
He
you
left,
go.
he went to his lawyer's office and reconfigured everything so that he solely owns the name.
Ah.
So everyone at that point was considered pretty much like an employee of GNR.
Oh, wow, that would have rubbed them the wrong way.
Yeah, Slash didn't want to be an employee anymore. That's when he eventually left.
Slash was on Howard Stern's show a couple of weeks ago, and he mentioned that he officially left GNR back in 1996, and started his own thing with Snake Pit.
Yeah, he had a lot of good stuff, I gotta say.
Yeah.
So,
In his own words, if you ever want to hear the sound of a band breaking up, listen to Sympathy for the Devil. He said that Axl had another guy overdub over his guitar parts in that song, and that's why
really?
he ultimately split.
He was louder in the mix.
God. I'm going to take another letter here. It is... I wrote this one down. It's from... who is it from? Claude Musselman in Red Bud, New York. He writes, what is your opinion of the two lesbians from Ohio who got the wrong baby? So I was like, all right, I'll take this question. Did you guys hear about this? There were two lesbians. All right. So I looked this up, and there's two lesbians from Ohio, so obviously they couldn't have a baby on their own. So they went to a sperm bank, and they get inseminated. One of them carries the baby, and they end up giving birth, and lo and behold, it's a black baby. and they're like all up in arms, like, "Oh my God, what are you doing to us? We didn't want a black baby." Blah blah blah. But the weird part about it is they're getting a lot of crap because people are calling them racists. And they're like, "What's wrong with a black baby? And you got a problem with black babies?" And they're like, "No, we just ordered a white baby." So, I don't know. The world's gone crazy here. But I think that you should have the right to order whatever kind of baby you want and not be called a racist. If you go get ice cream, you order vanilla ice cream, they give you chocolate ice cream, you can say, "Hey, I didn't order this. I want vanilla ice cream." And no one will give you a problem. But with this, they're giving crap, and they're suing now for wrongful pregnancy or something like that. So I don't know if they're going to give the baby back or what. But
Those are the same people.
You put that back
they'd
in?
probably get mad if somebody else complained that they had a gay baby.
yeah, right.
Can you return babies like that? How does that work?
I guess if you get the wrong one, you order something, you get the wrong one, you can bring it back,
Their
right?
performance guarantee on them.
Who fucked that up? How did you get the wrong sperm like that?
Yeah, right. Someone's sleeping on the job at the sperm bank, man. That ain't good. So, all right, I got another letter from Donna Lipschitz from Conshohocken, Pennsylvania. She says, "What do you know? What do you think about the Judices being sentenced to prison?" Good. So you guys know who these people are?
Yes.
From the Real Housewives of New Jersey,
Oh,
Joe and Teresa
them, yeah.
Giudice, whatever they are.
I think it's about time they start making an example out of these celebrities who get bagged for, anything really.
Yeah,
they get away with too much and they abuse it.
See, and that's the thing. He could have killed someone and it wouldn't have been a big deal. OJ killed 2 people, allegedly, and nothing happened to him. But if you don't pay your taxes or you screw the government out of money, you are absolutely going to jail. So, these people are screwed. They got 4 little kids, and the wife is going to jail for 15 months. The dad is going to jail for 41 months, right? And he could be deported after that, too. So that's... You better pay your taxes. Government's not messing around.
They sent Wesley Snipes to jail too for it.
Exactly. Who else? Or they'll take all your shit. What was the guy? Willie Nelson. They took all his stuff and auctioned it off, and I think they might have put him in jail too. I don't know.
Any normal person, they wouldn't hesitate to lock him up or something like that.
All right, here's a story I found on my own, and I didn't get a call in or nothing. There was an angry dwarf in England, and he was furious that the kitchen countertops at the city council offices were out of his reach. So he came into the city council office, he called the staff useless effers before pulling down his trousers and spreading excrement and urine in the help center's reception area. The wheelchair-bound 54-year-old, who is 4 feet tall, had previously threatened staff and was once tasered by the police.
I'd love to see a dwarf.
How
get
awesome
tasered.
is that? A 4-foot dwarf writing Helter Skelter on the wall in his own excrement, and the cops tasing him.
Sounds like my workplace.
Was it a hobbit tasering him?
Yeah, so this guy was talking about... Oh, and then he told an Asian guy to go back to his own country, and he punched a female receptionist.
I like this guy.
And then he was saying why he was so agitated, because he has to crawl up 2 flights of stairs to reach his home, and he's tormented by children. He also claimed that he had his wheelchair and walking stick stolen.
Did Gandalf take the stick?
John's having a conniption back there.
Yes. He said, "People make fun of me. You would not believe the abuse I get. Kids say in the summer, 'Let's torment the dwarf.'" I think this is wrong. I don't think we should be laughing at
It's awesome.
Jackweed, I get more action in a week than you've had your entire life. I've got houses in LA, Paris, and Vail. Each one of them with a 70-inch plasma screen. So I suggest you wipe that stupid smile off your face before I come over there and smack it off. You feeling strong, my friend? Call me Elf one more time.
He's an angry elf. Look at you! Ow! Hey, what? ready for that.
Call me Elf one more time. Call me Elf.
You're an elf.
I got one more thing before we're going back to Guns N' Roses. All right, this story comes out of Argentina, that a farming family has been accused of bestiality.
Sweet.
After one of their goats gave birth to a mutant baby with a human face.
That's
These
bad.
are good stories. The Villalba family of Centro in Argentina have been castigated after shocking images showing the deformed stillborn went viral. The pictures were posted by a friend to highlight the devastating impact of excessive pesticide use in the region. But instead, the family was bombarded with abuse and accusations of sodomy. There you go. Alright, so our time is up now. We're going to review this album before we go. And I am giving this album 5 stars out of 5. One of the greatest albums ever recorded, no question. Top 10 list of everybody's in the world. Go out and buy this album. As you can see, you could go out and buy it brand new. Look at all the stuff you got in there. A lot of stuff to look at. Great album. Alright.
Where do they go for nowadays, by the way?
This album cost, I told my wife I paid $5 for it, but it was really $17.99.
That's not bad. Feels actually a lot more than that.
And I sold my original copy for like $4, I think. Sons of bitches.
He got you.
Brian, you son of a bitch! I want my album back.
Give it back to him, Brian.
Oh, that's one thing I wanted
If
to
you want to
mention
sell
about
it,
too.
let me know.
Did you notice that? Did you hear about Ebola?
Oh, yeah. Why are they letting these people back in the country without
Exactly.
quarantining them and treating them wherever they came
Close the doors. No more trips to Liberia. What's there to see in Liberia anyway? And the worst part now is you hear dogs are getting it.
No.
Swear to God that this guy that died, they quarantined his dog and they're going to put the dog to sleep because dogs can now be carriers from this.
from? Was it an Argentinian dog?
No, not making this up. I swear to God. And this is look it up. Everybody look it up in the news. That this is, if you recall back, one of the episodes of the Planet of the Apes movie. That's how it got started. That they said that plague came and wiped out all the pets. So the people took monkeys and gorillas in as pets because they needed pets, and then they became domesticated. Then they learned how to talk from hanging around humans so much, and then that was it. Then the Caesar took over, and that was the end of the world.
I
as we
watched.
know it.
I watched the newest one. It was awesome.
Yeah. See, so there you go.
Ridiculous movie.
So we got a lot to look forward to. It's either going to be zombie apocalypse or it's going to be Planet of the Apes coming up. So let's not.
Stock up on guns.
Yes, that's it. Go get your guns, water, and batteries.
Hollow points.
All right. Well, let's play that again as we're going up. Everyone, hold up your cup. If you got one.
I don't have one, so.
Yeah, I
Thanks for
had
the
4
cappuccino.
cups, but my wife broke the other one. All right, live from Dennis's house. Thanks to Bad Obsession. Thanks everybody
Thanks
for
for
coming
having us,
on.
Dennis.
See you guys next week.
Take care.